Big challenges ahead for Sri Lanka's new president, who says the country is in a very difficult situation. Singapore's Auditor General finds lapses in government accounts, including millions in overpayments. And working out with Shanmugam, can 1FM DJs keep up with the Home Affairs Minister? This is The Big Story with me, Olivia Quay. Remember to subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you never miss an episode. Sri Lanka's newly elected president is under no illusion about how difficult his task will be. Speaking in Parliament after he was voted in by lawmakers, Ranil Wickremesinghe gave a short speech acknowledging that the country is in a very difficult situation with big challenges ahead. Well, he takes over from former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who fled the country last week and resigned after Sri Lankans came out on the streets protesting against the government's handling of a crippling economic crisis. Mr. Wickremesinghe, for his part, imposed a state of emergency on Monday, giving him more powers to launch a crackdown should he feel the need. For more, let's bring in Rohini Mohan, our India correspondent, closely watching events in Sri Lanka. So Rohini, Mr. Wickremesinghe is opposed by many ordinary Sri Lankans who set fire to his private residence when he was Prime Minister. So is the country ready to accept him as the president?
Actually, just minutes after he was elected in Parliament as the new president, the protesters who have been gathering near Galle-Face Seaside in Colombo, they again announced that they will not accept him. This is something they have been saying for the last few days. And actually in the last month, they've asked for Ranil go home. That's been their slogan. So today, it's quite clear that they will not accept this Mr. Wickremesinghe as the new president, especially because they see him as a stand-in for Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who is probably in Singapore now, who has resigned, who was forced to resign for his economic mismanagement, which has led Sri Lanka into a terrible economic crisis, food and fuel and medicine shortages. So Mr. Wickremesinghe is seen as more of the same, and it's quite clear that he is extremely unpopular in Sri Lanka.
Well, Rohini, what's expected to happen next? How soon will the president name his prime minister?
He should name him soon. In the next week, we'll get to know who he's thinking of as his prime minister, who will be in his cabinet. And more than the names itself, what analysts say is important right now is for him to explain every move that he makes. Given that he has a massive unpopularity and people don't see him as the legitimate leader, he will have to pick another set of people to represent the government's decisions, its policies, and get a consensus from the people, because any economic recovery will require a lot of tough steps that people do see will be resisted by the ordinary Sri Lankan. And this is something he has to keep in mind as he puts together a new cabinet, new ministers. Till now, he has held the finance portfolio, a very important ministry right now, given that this will be the ministry from where all the decisions for economic recovery will take place. We have to see if he will keep it or he will appoint another person, which it is going to be a ministry that's closely watched, and also a ministry that has a very difficult job in the coming year.
Well, Rohini, you have said that, Mr. Wickremesinghe is extremely unpopular in Sri Lanka and the country is bankrupt with 22 million people struggling to make ends meet. So will the new president be able to pull the nation out of this deep crisis?
So I understand that the IMF bailout is a discussion that has been going on. And even with the political instability, there has been some movement ahead in that. And once that is clear, Sri Lanka may get around $5 billion from there, which is not very much at all, given that it doesn't have any dollar reserves to import its food, fuel, or medicines, which are all in short right now. So public transport is nearing a standstill. Doctors are actually warning people not to fall sick because there are no medicines in hospital. People are not able to get around to even to work. So all offices are working only about 3 or 2 days a week. Most people are working from home or not at all. Most people are actually spending all their hours for days. Actually, people are standing in front of fuel stations, hoping to get some petrol or diesel. Cooking gas is also run out. So all of these things, Sri Lanka is really at an edge right now. And whoever is the new government, they hope there will be a cross-party government. And these people will also have to start working with neighbors, with China, with India and the US to try and get some credit lines for some of these imports. And these are things that will have to be put in place also with some political stability. And this is what the new president and his new government will have to.
Rohini Mohan there, our India correspondent, who's been keeping a close eye on events unfolding in Sri Lanka. Be prepared to pay more if you're in the market for a new car, because COE premiums are higher once again in all categories in the latest tender exercise. COE for the open category, also known as Category E, which tends to be used for larger cars ending just over $114,000, which is a 3.1% increase from the last round. It's also the second straight time that this category has set a new high. Meanwhile, premiums for Category A cars increasing by 1.2% and Cat B premiums are up by 2%. The Auditor General's annual report on government accounts for the 2021 and 2022 financial year is out. And among the findings, Skills Future Singapore was flagged for lapses in the management of grants, resulting in an estimated overpayments of $4.22 million. It was also lax in enforcing the collection of skills development levy funds from 2015 to 2020 that resulted in an estimated $43 million owed to the agency as at April this year. Lapses found as well in how the Communications and Information Ministry administered communications campaigns. There was a lack of clarity on units of management for tenderers to submit bids, leading to vendors using different units of measurement when public agencies procure their services. MCI also didn't monitor the spread of contracts awarded to the 39 vendors on the panel. The top vendor was awarded 38% of the total value, and the next two highest vendors getting 7% and 6% respectively. And the AGO identified more than 5,000 instances where GST voucher USave rebates could have been given to some 3,100 ineligible households, and this amounts to $864,500. Well, these issues arose mostly due to a time lag in the data used for determining eligibility. In addition, the AGO conducted a thematic audit on COVID-19 related procurement and expenditure. And here's our assistant news editor Haris Baharudin with more.
So, in addition to its usual audit of the government's financial statements, the AGO conducted a thematic audit on selected COVID-19 related procurement and expenditures that were managed by three agencies: the Health Promotion Board, HPB, the Singapore Land Authority, the SLA, and the Ministry of Manpower, the MOM. So the Auditor General actually found that the three agencies spent a total of $1.51 billion from Jan 2020 to March 2021 in the fight against COVID on things like manpower services, accommodation, and meal catering. Generally, the agencies had in place processes and controls across the various stages of procurement and contract management. AGO did highlight some good practices, but they also made note of some areas where controls could have been improved. The three agencies acknowledged that the observations made by the AGO were there, and they have taken immediate steps to rectify instances of inadequate controls and checks. Noting that the AGO had pointed out areas where controls could be improved in procurement and contracting processes, such as in the evaluation of proposals and the documentation of assessments carried out, the agencies did say that they will review their emergency procurement procedures. There's a bit more to this, and you can see more details in our stories online.
In other news, Japan will hold a state funeral for its late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe next month on September the 27th. Mr. Abe was shot dead while speaking at a campaign event in the southern city of Nara 2.5 weeks ago. A private funeral, only attended by family and friends, was held on July the 12th. Current Prime Minister Fumio Kishida had said Mr. Abe would be given a state funeral in recognition of being Japan's longest-serving Prime Minister, as well as for his contributions to Japan and the world. Fires raging through houses and buildings across the UK after temperatures crossed 40 degrees Celsius for the first time ever. A new record of 40.3 degrees was set on Tuesday, beating the previous record of 38.7 degrees 3 years ago. Some relief can be expected today when temperatures may drop by up to 10 degrees, with showers and thunderstorms developing in some areas. In an interview on 1FM 91.3 this morning, Law and Home Affairs Minister K. Shanmugam says Singapore's fight against drugs is made more challenging each time other countries in the region loosen their drug laws. For instance, Malaysia allowed cannabis for medicinal purposes last year, and just last month, Thailand delisted cannabis from its narcotics list, although the public smoking of marijuana remains illegal.
Now, with some of our neighboring countries, not mentioning names, opening up and making certain drugs legal, do you see at any point in the future the youth of Singapore beginning to want that to happen here?
There will always be a group of people who might want that to happen here, and each time our neighbors do something like that, it increases the challenge that we have. And it really is incumbent upon us to present the choices in very vivid terms, what are the different choices, and persuade our people, including young people, that we have to make the right choices for themselves and for society.
It wasn't all serious talk at the interview, with Mr. Shanmugam also taking the DJs through an exercise routine comprising squats and push-ups. We'll leave it to you to decide who comes out on top in this workout.
4, 5, 6.
That's it.
7.
I'm shot. Oh, on my knees I can.
9. On your knees.
Oh my God. And rock music fans, get ready as iconic American rock band Guns N' Roses will perform at the National Stadium on November the 12th. This is their second visit here after their 2017 concert, which drew 50,000 fans. Tickets go on sale next Thursday, July the 28th, with prices starting from $128. Well, those are our top stories today. Visit straitstimes.com for more news and our YouTube channel for more videos. Subscribe by hitting the red button below. I'm Olivia Quay, and I'll see you tomorrow on The Big Story.